5-year-old, Your Honor. She's been in jail 116 days without an indictment, without a preliminary hearing. She did have a preliminary hearing scheduled for January 19th, but the officer failed to appear, so it was reset. It's reset for February 3rd. Your Honor, we are gonna ask if you reduce her bond today. She cannot make it as it is. It is way too high for her and her ability, and her family. We're gonna ask if you reduce it to 5,000 so we can apply for the bail project. I just also want to bring light, Your Honor. We don't even know the amounts of some of the drugs in questions. We just know that there was a count of 69 pills for one of them, but in terms of the marijuana, we don't know how much it was. It just says it was more than an ounce. I mean, it could be a little bit more of an ounce for all we know. We haven't had an opportunity to really flesh this out. And we also don't know the oxycodone. We don't know the size of it. And for the last count, the controlled substance scheduled 1, that was an edible. It was a marijuana thing. So just in perspective of what we're dealing with, we don't know all the type of drugs, and she hasn't even had her day in court. And so for that, Your Honor, we're going to ask if you reduce to 5,000 so we can try applying her for the bail project. And as you heard from pretrial, she has no criminal history. So this is her first time with the law.
So for us, that's pretty good, since those are both UJR through pretrials set by a previous judge. The only one we're concerned about pretty much now is possession of MDMA with intent to distribute. What says the state?
Hi, good evening, Your Honor. The state has no objection to lowering the bond, but we would ask for it to be set at $12,500.
It's a pretty sweet deal. All right, so we got count 1. It's UJR through pretrial level 1. Count 1, UJR through pretrial level 1, 12,500 on count 2. UJR through pretrial counts 3 and 4. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 420 Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and employment. Ma'am, as long as you supply the name of your employer, place of employment, schedule, you have to supply and the exact location you'll be working. You can go to work, but you got to tell the ankle monitoring company, and you have to tell pretrial, and you're gonna have to tell your lawyer so they can turn it over to the state. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, ACDC.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. See, we got Marietta Annex. Who do we got down there at Marietta Annex first?
They're gonna be on the add-on calendar 1,
Duffy. All right. Let's see. Ms. Cole here.
I'm going to be covering this case, Your Honor.
All right. This is one on the add-on. Bernard Sean Duffy, 22 CP 212704. 54 days without indictment. Marijuana, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, possession of sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, machine gun, dangerous weapon, silencer, or silencer, reckless conduct, theft by receiving stolen property. Right now, there is.
Maybe I could provide some clarification. We're actually just here on the misdemeanors because he has a bond on the other charges, Your Honor.
Just in case I don't increase them. A $10,000 split bond with a cosigner. Pre-trial.
That's only one prior arrest, and that's an open case, 22 CP 214568. Tools, purchase, manufacturing, sale, delinquency of a minor and firearm during. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Collins.
Yes, Your Honor. Latrivia Collins here for Mr. Duffy. Your Honor, as I was trying to explain, he has a bond on all of his felony charges. He just does not have a bond on the misdemeanors because they were under pretrial, but pretrial surrendered that bond. And so now he's in a no bond status on them, but it's a misdemeanor. So he is statutorily entitled to a bond, I believe. Your Honor, he's 19 years old. He was in the 12th grade. Before he was arrested, he was taking online courses with Penn Foster, and he does hope to continue those online courses if he is to be released. He wants to get his GED, and then he wants to go to trade school and pick up HVAC. He is soon to be a father. He is expecting his first child. So far, it's 5 months along. He was working prior to getting arrested. He was working for a temp agency where he was doing general warehouse work. He does have a good address on file. That's his mother's address. I have spoken with her and confirmed that address. He does not have any felony convictions. These 2 open cases are his only 2 cycles. Your Honor, we're just asking if you would consider a $500 bond on each of the misdemeanors.
Is that address going to be in Fulton County?
Yes, it's in Atlanta, Your Honor.
Right, what says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. So it's a little confusing because he was given a UJR on those 3 misdemeanors.
Pretrial
It-
came off of it.
Okay, in September, and then he was arrested again in December. And he was under his conditions were to have no drugs, no weapons, and no contact with the co-defendant, Deontay Walker. And when he was arrested in December, he was with drugs, with weapons, and with Deontay Walker. So the state just has concerns about his likeliness to reoffend and would ask that you just keep it at a no bond status.
All right. It's been 54 days. The thing that concerns me here is that, and I ain't gonna call out who set this other bond, but they had a Glock 22C with an attachment to the rear of the slide that make the pistol into a automatic weapon. Very concerning at 19 years old. 54 days, ma'am. I'm gonna deny bond. You can come back when you're closer to 90. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, these are misdemeanors.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna increase the 2 felonies, the 1 felony possession of a knife or sawed-off shotgun. I'm gonna make that no bond. Misdemeanor, you got 5,000 each. Best of luck to you, sir. See you back in closer to 90 days.
Your Honor, I would add that this is a co-defendant case. The weapon was not found on him.
I've made my decision. No further contact with Deontay Walker. No drugs unless prescribed. No alcohol. No weapons. No further contact with Amber Linder, ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. Best of luck to you, sir. See you closer to 90 days.
All right,
All right.
next case, position 4.
Tyrone Poitras. Sorry, sir, if I mispronounced that. 22-CP-210900. Tyrone Poitras, 194 days without indictment. There is a $12,000 good bond on theft by receiving stolen property felony. Free trial. Busted.
Tyrone, what number?
For Tyrone Poitras.
Oh, there it is. Extensive criminal arrest history. 51 prior arrests, 7 felony convictions, at least 4 misdemeanor convictions, FTA, a couple arrests for probation violation. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Ms. Rosenhuber. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Poitras is 62 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. He made it to high school and was most recently working at Russell Landscaping. Most pertinently, Judge, we have been able to get Mr. Poitras into a rehab. It's a 6-month program where residents can opt to stay longer. This was also one that I submitted to the ADA to potentially accuse. He does want to resolve this case, and he has been in 194 days without indictment. Judge, given the fact that this is a nonviolent offense, and despite of his extensive criminal history, we are asking the court to UJR this to that rehab, and I'll prepare a transport order once we're able to confirm exactly what day and time they'll be able to take him.
You know the name of the rehab?
Yes, Your Honor. It's called Recovery Foundations. I believe it's in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
All right, what says the state?
Good evening, Your Honor. Kate Adcock on behalf of the state. Your Honor, the state is aware of 11 felony convictions involving this defendant. Bond is currently, I believe, at $12,000. The state is requesting that you keep it at that amount, given his risk of reoffending and his risk to persons and property within the community. We feel that that's appropriate. If Your Honor does decide to lower the bond, we would request county paid ankle monitor with a almost essentially 24-hour curfew.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3601 MLK Drive Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. I think I already said no drugs, no alcohol. You have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, medical, and lawyer. Is he going to school? Because I had before school.
Your Honor, he's not enrolled in classes right now, but I will add that if the court is inclined to still have a bond amount there, we would ask for it to be no greater than $5,000 because then we can utilize the bail project. But no, Your Honor, I don't have that he's currently enrolled in school.
All right. He can also leave for any addiction or mental health treatment at the recovery. Is that the link to that program? Is there a link to that, or is it just?
I have a letter that I'm happy to forward to Your Honor and to the state. but I don't have the website, but I'm sure I can get it. I have an email address and a phone number of the director.
Okay, so it's not like, what's the other one that's a year, 18-month program? It's not like that.
This one is a 6-month program. They are GARR certified. I'm not sure what that means, but they have a certification. And our social worker was able to link it. They have a recoveryfoundations.org email address, and I can keep looking for more information if the court needs.
Okay. All right, sir, as long as you participate in the program. No further contact with Kendrick, KENDRICK Mills. $8,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. And if he gets into it and you're okay, send the consent order into the program and we'll get you a transport order and a consent to reduce it, okay?
Okay, Judge, he has been accepted.
He
into
has
the-
been accepted, okay.
Yes, I have the letter.
Okay, yep, sent to us. $5,000 good bond. Must enter the program and participate in it, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Best of luck to you, sir. All right, who we got next?
All right, Judge, announcement on Williams, position 18. He on the work detail at the jail, so I'm gonna head back over there to the jail. I'm gonna log into courtroom 2.
All right, so you just go ahead and show the jail. All right, so you got Jackie Henderson? Or is that it?
That's called. I believe that's
Right.
called.
So you got all, so you're done except for the one that's at the work detail.
That's correct.
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay.
All right. All right, Jackie Henderson. Do like this, best you can. All right. Mr. Houston. Number 1, Bostic. Jackie Henderson, 22 CP 213268. 106, let's see, 106 days without indictment, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of tools for a crime, financial transaction card theft, driving with a suspended or revoked license, willful obstruction, misdemeanor, escape, custody, or confinement. No bond as of October the 18th. Pre-trial.
Judge Henderson, extensive arrest history, multi-state offender, 31 in Georgia, offenses in Alabama, prior arson in 09, 4 FTAs in Alabama, open case, receiving stolen property and fraud on probation in Shelby County, 4 counterfeiting and conspiracy, sentence in 2020, 18 months confinement, 3 years probation, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Houston.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Henderson has an Atlanta address. He is employed with Instacart. He does have 5 children. He does have a high school education. Your Honor, in terms of bond, considering that he has a hold with the U.S. Marshals, we would just ask for UJR to the hold. If not, a reasonable bond. Thank you.
All right, what says the state?
What position is that? I'm sorry.
Number 1, Jackie Henderson.
The state would ask that you keep it in a no bond status, Your Honor.
Well, it's been 106 days. There's that old thing called Georgia law that I kind of have to go by. Statutorily required to give him a bond.
Yes, sir. I have that he had a preliminary hearing on January 19th.
Hadn't been indicted.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I did not know. I thought he'd only been in 85 days. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's 100. Usually when I talk, I call their name then 106 days without indictment. That's okay. I got a rhythm. You'll get used to it.
15,000 for count 1, 2,500 for count 2, 2,000 for count 3, 500 for the license suspended, 2,500 for the obstruction, and 15,000 for the escape charge. Would be the state's recommendation.
You have risen to one of my favorites right there. Give me numbers per count. Outstanding. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2315 Caliber Creek Parkways. He still live in Roswell, Mr. Howard?
That is the address that he lives at. And
All right. No further contact with Shakira, Shakera, Moore, Moore. You're going to have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, place of employment, proof of employment, and schedule. You have to supply that to your lawyer and to the ankle monitoring company. Sir, no driving during the pendency of this case. Until your bond is modified, you cannot drive. You do not have a license. 15,000 count 1, 2,500 count 2, 2,000 count 3, 1,000 count 4, 2,500 count 5 and 15,000 on the escape. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. All right, we got Robert Giaborn. Sorry, sir, if I mispronounced it. Thank you, sir. All right, it's position 8, Bostic. 22 CP 213357. Robert Louis Giaborn. Burglary in the first degree. 104 days without indictment. No bond as of October the 21st. Pre-trial.
Nineteen prior arrests, one FTA in 2013, 2 arrests for probation violations, a misdemeanor, couple of death by shopliftings, 2016 and 17. Open case 22 SC 180499, burglary, theft by taking, financial transaction card theft. Judge Richardson, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Pinto.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Giamborni has, he's 40 years old. He's lived in Georgia 35 years. He's been incarcerated 104 days with no bond and no indictment. If released on bond, he plans to stay in Macon. He was staying at a boarding house down there. So we're not sure if a spot is still available for him at that prior address at this point. He was working for an asphalt company here in Atlanta, which then closed due to COVID. And then he was working as a day laborer after that, at the time of his arrest. He was staying with some friends in Atlanta, but he would plan to return to Macon if released, as stated. He does have one child who is 17 years old, and she currently lives with the grandparents. He did receive his GED and he graduated from Le Cordon Bleu. He has no felony convictions that I heard. I heard one FTA back in 2013. So he's not a flight risk judge. He has strong ties to the community. He doesn't have any violent history. So we are asking the court to set a reasonable bond. He is, of course, indigent, which has not been helped given that he's been in the jail for over 100 days now. So we would ask for a bond of $5,000.
All right, what says the state?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would ask for a $15,000 bond and to stay away from the incident location.
See, I'm acquired taste, Miss Adcock, Miss Porter. I'm acquired taste. Once you get my rhythm, we move. This ain't DeKalb County, is it, Miss Robinson?
It's not, Judge.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2078 Lenox Road Northeast. No further contact with Stephen Wolf. STEPHENWOLFE. You have an ankle monitor for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and work. Sir, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the location you'll be working to the ankle monitoring company and to your lawyer who'll supply it to the state, you can leave. Unless you do that, you're going to be violating it. But also, you're going to stay out of Fulton County. The only way you come back to Fulton County, sir, is to get gas or to see your lawyer. Fill up. Just as you get into Clayton County, stop, fill up with gas to make sure you can make it to the courthouse and back down to Macon. Don't stop, don't get lunch, don't get anything. Straight there. $15,000. Well, let's make it a $10,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
Judge Manning,
Yes.
for position 1, Jackie Henderson, you issued a stay away from Shakira. That's his girlfriend who lives at the address.
Well, I guess he can't go. He's got to pick her at a house. Which ones he want?
She's not a victim listed in the case, Your Honor.
I think she's one of the co-defendants.
I don't show her being a co-defendant either.
We'll come back to it, okay? Let's get going
Okay.
on. All right, next. Antoine Garland.
Judge, I'm sorry, could I just ask I also have positions 5, 6, and 7. They received bonds, 5 on the 24th, 6 and 7 on the 26th at their prelims. Are we still doing them today?
I didn't call off. Here's the ones that aren't going to be heard today. Cargia Cox, Carlos Dallas, Jerome Daniel, Tavarius Lockett, and Roberto Wilburn are not going to be heard today. Either been indicted, had a previous hearing, or made a bond. Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening. Good to see
Thank
you.
you. You too.
All right. All right, let's see. All right, Antoine Garland. We got you?
We'll waive sounding, Your Honor.
Or we got him?
No,
Antoine Garland?
he should be in Cobb. I
Okay,
think
there we
he's in
go.
booth
I'm just
one.
waiting on him to shrug his shoulder or something. All right, position 13, 22 CP 213-101. Antoine Garland. That's type of a CWAC kind of charge, I guess. I don't know. 112 days without indictment. There is a $1,500 good bond as of October the 12th. Pre-trial.
Extensive arrest history, 86, 86 prior arrests, at least 3 felonies, 2 probation violations, 4 misdemeanors. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Collins.
Your Honor, Mr. Garland is 42 years old. He's lived in Georgia his entire life. He is currently residentially challenged. We do have him connected with social services from our office. And we are trying to locate him housing, but we have not at the moment. But that is something that is in the works. He has a 10th grade education. He went to Tri-Cities. He does not have any children. This case is a misdemeanor. It's been a misdemeanor since first appearance. It's remained in Superior Court at the request of the district attorney's office. He's been in custody now, I believe, over 100 days, and the district attorney's office has not moved the case forward. He did have a prelim originally scheduled for the 17th of January. However, the officer did not appear, so it was reset to February 2nd. And hopefully the officer shows so that we can have a hearing. But I do believe that this charge is going to stay a misdemeanor, and I'm hoping that it can get transferred to state court where it can be resolved. In the meantime, Your Honor, his bond is substantially low, given his criminal history. We would just ask if you would consider reducing it to 1,000 just to make it easier on him. Then when the time comes that we do find housing for him, most likely he's probably going to have to go through the Bell Project.
All right, what says the state?
You're on mute, Ms. Potter.
Thank you. The state would object to modifying the bond at this time.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Kelly, last name B-A-A-R. Stay away from all MARTA property, sir. Bus stops. If you got to stop and tie your shoe, don't stop at one of those little bus stops that says MARTA. Go walk down the street, sit on the curb, tie your shoe. Trains, planes, automobiles, anything that says MARTA, stay away from it. Stay away from 7010 Peachtree Dunwoody Road. You must supply an address upon your release of where you'll be living. Ms. Collins is going to get you into a program, probably in some housing. Once she does, Ms. Collins, if it comes up, I'll reduce it to $1,000. And you've got him someplace, do something, we come up with a consent and get him out of there, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. And on Mr. Giaborn, he's got to supply an address too, Ms. Parham, when he gets out. If they don't have an address, they got to give an address upon bonding out. Justin Pulley.
Got it, Judge.
All right, Justin Pulley, wave your hand, shake your head, wiggle around. There you go. Thank you, sir. All right, it's 22, Bostic. 22 CP 209-834. Justin Pulley, 234 days without indictment. We've got a $20,000 good bond as of September the 15th. Burglary in the second degree. Pre-trial.
In regards to Mr. Pulley, multi-state offender, 1 in North Carolina, 5 in Florida, 8 in Alabama, at least 3 felony convictions, 6 arrests for probation violation, 1 FTA. Prior theft by receiving stolen property, criminal damage to property, 2 counts of felony obstruction. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Correa.
Thank you, Your Honor. In regards to Mr. Pulley, this is a case where we have already had the preliminary hearing in this case. Just for the court's knowledge, Mr. Pulley is alleged to have entered the hotel room of somebody else. And at that preliminary hearing, the officer testified that
the officer never went to that hotel room, never photographed anything. There is no video documentation. And the only people that he spoke with at the location were security and just one person who was occupying the hotel room at the time, despite the fact that there were other people staying in the hotel room. So we do have some severe concerns about how this case is going to be prosecuted moving forward. And that was even something that Judge Drake herself mentioned, that she was unsure how this case was going to proceed. Moving forward towards Justin Pulley. At this time, he is 45 years old. He did have a birthday at the jail. He has resided in the Metro Atlanta area since 1996. He is a certified electrician and part of the electricians at this point. At the time of his incarceration, he was also very much involved with Passion City Church, which is a larger church in the Lindbergh area of Atlanta. He is also a high school graduate and graduated from Columbus High School. I have been in contact with his mother. Additionally, Mr. Pulley has been accepted into rehab. He has been accepted to We Are Living Proof. At this time, given that there has been no material change in this prosecution, I'm asking Your Honor to reduce this bond to $5,000 so that way Mr. Pulley can go on to rehab, work on bettering himself, so that way once this case is possibly indicted, he has the opportunity to fight these challenges after having gone through the counseling and mentorship that he would obtain at We Are Living Proof. And I'm happy to send over that acceptance letter if you need. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Correa, is that a 6-month program or is it just?
Let me double check. I don't want to misspeak.
Okay, all right. What says the state while she's checking?
Your Honor, I was not present at the preliminary hearing. I can't speak to the strengths and weaknesses of the case. However, I don't think that that's one of the factors that the court is to consider today, given the fact that he has 4 felony convictions, including several convictions for violent felonies. We're requesting that bond be reduced to $10,000, ankle monitor, 24-hour curfew, no return to 35 14th Street, no contact with the victim, Stoney Lamar.
So Ms. Correa, is it going to place where he's going to live?
Yes, Your Honor. And it looks like it starts off as a 6-month program, but that can change depending on the needs of different residents.
And do you know where it's going to be, where it's housed, or is it just different places?
I believe that they have different locations. I do have their main mailing address is out of Gwinnett County, but I just wouldn't want to be limited. I don't want to limit his placement if they do have other facilities.
All right. All right. Let's see. No. O-N-E-Y Lamar Williams. Stay away from 35 14th Street in Atlanta, Georgia. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and also to participate in the We Are Living Proof program. Sir, part of your bond condition is you participate in that program. Right now, she said it's a 6-month program. If you get out, you go there, you don't participate, that's a violation of your bond condition. Mr. Staples, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing is kind of, I'm going to shut your camera off because it's a little bit distracting for me when I look up at the screen, okay? And before I had he had to stay out of Fulton County. See me take that out?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't want to limit his placement with We Are Living Proof.
All right. All right, sir. So you can leave for court, lawyer, seek medical attention, seek in to participate in the program at We Are Living Proof. And if that includes a job, you have to supply a job title, proof of employment, name of your employer, schedule, the exact location you'll be working. You're going to have to turn that over to the ankle monitoring company and to your lawyer. It's been 234 days. I'll go ahead and do some $5,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Rodriguez Hilliard. All right, thank you, Mr. Hilliard. Ms. Safarasi, is this you?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I think we got.
Hey, Jill, whenever you're ready, I got position 18, courtroom 2.
All right, hold on. What was his name again?
Williams.
All right, let me pull it back up. Sorry, I stuck it over to the side. Hold on one second. Martin Williams, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me handle Martin Williams first. We'll come right back to you, Ms. Sarfarazzi.
No problem.
All right, Martin Williams, Mr. Cazzoli. Anybody see Mr. Cazzoli?
Your Honor, I'll call him now to try to get a hold of him. I do apologize.
All right. We'll come right back to you. Sorry, Deputy. I know you had to get him off his detail. All right, Ms. Sarfarazzi, Mr. Hilliard, position 24, 22 CP 210433. Rodriguez Salim Hilliard, 211 days without indictment. You've got a $16,000 good bond as of July the 6th for family violence, battery, second or subsequent offense, and criminal trespass.
Hilliard, 12 prior arrests. Open case 22 SC 184609, battery, family violence, theft by taking, battery, family violence. Victim is Shirley McNeil. Prior conviction for battery, family violence in 2015. That one was Shauna Reynolds. 1 FTA, 1 arrest for probation violation. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Sarfarazzi.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hilliard, he was booked on July 5th of 2022. He, as you said, he's been in jail 111 days without an indictment. There has been no preliminary hearing in this case, Your Honor. Nothing has moved on this case. And so, Your Honor, we are asking you to reduce the bond because of that. Mr. Hilliard, we have a good address for him in Atlanta. I don't think there'd be any issues with reporting to court or staying away from any of the victims or witnesses in this case. And so, Your Honor, we're going to ask if you reduce the bond to $10,000 total. Thank you.
All right, is it Fulton County or City of Atlanta? Is it proper in Fulton County?
It's in Atlanta zip code, so I do think it's in Fulton County.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state in this case is requesting that the bond amount stay in place. That would be $15,000 for the battery FVA and $1,000 for the criminal trespass, for a total of $16,000. The indicted case involves the same victim. The defendant clearly has issues following the court's orders regarding bond in this case, and we are requesting because of that. Also, Your Honor, we have spoken with the victim, who has asked that the bond stay at the current amount.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact, sir. Carrier pigeon, telephone, television, fax machine, telegraph. Don't have somebody else call somebody else and call somebody else to talk to her. Sir, when I say no contact, I mean absolutely no contact. If you violate one of my bond conditions, you'll be on a bond revocation calendar and you will go back to jail. No further contact with Shirley McNeil or Michelle Griffin, Griffin. Stay away from 812 Beechwood Avenue. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. And sir, don't call on the telephone. So no calling on the telephone either from the jail. Don't call on somebody else's card, call and try to talk to her. 15,000 count one. And since I added condition 700. Brown. Walter Brown. Wave your hand if you're Walter Brown. There you go. Thank you, sir. Position 2, 22 CP 209954. Walter Brown. 229 days for theft by shoplifting and $8,000 good bond on September the 27th. Looks like bond modification was denied on October the 6th. Pre-trial.
Did you say number 2?
Yep. You took off at lunch, Bostic. You should have been prepared to see it caught up and ready to go.
It's on the add-on calendar. It's on the add-on, Bostic.
Yes, we're one of the add-ons.
My number 2 is Antonio Ragland. How many add-on there he is. Walter Brim, not Brown. Sorry.
Don't blame it
I
on my
told you the
accent.
accent is getting away from you.
Go ahead, Bostic. Miss Adcock doesn't hear an accent. She swears back. Go, Bostic.
South Carolina, 6 felony convictions, breaking and entering, forgery, larceny, theft by shoplifting, theft by shoplifting, and theft by shoplifting. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Miss Beck.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brim is 60 years old. He completed high school. Because he has been in for so long, he currently is unemployed. He does not live here in Georgia. He actually lives in South Carolina, and the address on file is still a good address for him. He has a hold out of South Carolina, so we are asking for a $3,000 bond so that he can be released to that hold.
What do you say, Ms. Adcock?
Your Honor, the state is aware of a much more extensive criminal history. My investigator ran a GCIC today. We grand larceny, armed robbery, multiple counts, felony possession and furnishing of contraband, burglary and possession of implements used in a crime, burglary, breaking into an automobile, forgery, felony shoplifting, larceny, and additional counts of felony shoplifting. Given that, we are requesting that the current bond amount remain in place as stated by opposing counsel in this case. The defendant does have a warrant for fugitive from justice out of South Carolina. We're asking that the bond conditions also remain in place. I believe there was a county funded ankle monitor required and no return to the Walmart at 3885 Jonesboro Road.
I got it, Home Depot.
Your Honor, I have what pre-trial read.
And I have it here as a Home Depot. You got it as a Walmart?
I have Home Depot as well.
I apologize. I think that I had received the incorrect GCIC on this one from my investigator. I do show the same as pretrial services.
All right, Bostic, that's good. You're safe. Your job is safe for now. Nobody outdid you. Go ahead, Ms. Adcock. Is that all for you?
That would still be the state's position, Your Honor.
All right, here's what I kind of like to do. All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from all Home Depot stores. Stay away from 2353 Metropolitan Parkway. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay out of Fulton County, except for medical, court, and attorney visits. You're going to be on a 24-hour curfew, except for court, medical. Also, stay out of the state of Georgia, sir. You don't come back to the state of Georgia unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Here's what I'll do. I'll make it a, it's going to be one of those, Ms. Porter, where money amount and or release to the hold, because I'm not sure what that hold is, Ms. Beck. So Ms. Adcock, I'll give him a money amount, or if they come and get him, but he's going to have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on his ankle after you get released from South Carolina, sir. So you can come back to the state of Georgia for that time to come back, have your ankle. Also, you'll be able to leave for employment as long as you got a job, and you can provide proof of employment, schedule, location, time, exact location you'll be working, and proof of name of your employer. All right. So we'll make that a $3,000 good bond and release only to that South Carolina hold. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Willie Cotton.
Your Honor, I do have an update for Mr. Robert Cazzoli, which is position 18. Asking for a reset, Your Honor, because he was recently stuck in the jail, so he just couldn't get out.
That's cool. All right, Deputy, thank you. Appreciate that, but we'll just have to reset it. Sorry, Mr. Williams.
Judge, I'll reset them to the first available calendar and get it out to everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Morrell. All right, Willie Joe Cotton.
Judge.
Wave your hand. Shake your head. Wave your hand. All right, there you go. Who's still up there in Cobb County? Sitting in that booth. Do we know?
I'm not sure. I think you did everyone in Cobb.
Sir, up in Cobb, I've already heard your case. You can leave the booth. You're on mute, so I'm not going to be able to hear what you're saying. All right, Mr. Cotton. All right, it's position 10, Bostic 22, CP 213062, Willie Cotton, 116 days with no first degree and possession of tools for the commission of a crime. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Cotton, extensive criminal history. 41 prior arrests, at least 5 misdemeanors, parole arrests, a couple of FTAs. He's on probation in Taylor County for false imprisonment tools, sentenced in 2016. for 10 years. Other convictions, parole violations, I said that already, it's 3. And convictions are for burglary and burglary, at least. Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Safarasi, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Khan, he also goes by Johnny Peoples. I know he prefers to go by Johnny Peoples, so I'll keep it like that for Mr. Peoples. He has been in custody 116 days without indictment, Your Honor. He's had no preliminary hearing on these cases. We haven't had a chance to hear out all the evidence or anything like that.
Stop. 7 South, sit down. Sit down, gentlemen, keep your seat. You get up, you walk out, your case is removed from the calendar. Sorry, Ms. Safarasi, go ahead.
No problem, Your Honor. And so, yeah, as I was saying, Your Honor, he's had no preliminary hearings. So we've had no opportunity to challenge these charges yet. Had no bond for all that time, Your Honor. We are working. We do believe we have some mental health issues here, particularly addiction issues, and we are working with a social worker. I've met with my social worker several times to try to get him into a program. He last I heard was actually from today. I spoke with him, and he says that they are actually actively applying him to programs. It just takes time for the programs to come and refer and everything. It is a mess, Your Honor, but we are actively working on that. A little bit about Mr. Peoples. We do have a good address for him here in Atlanta. He's spent his whole life here. All of his family is here. He does have an 11th grade education. He is 56-year-old. He's a little bit older, Your Honor. So the jail is not the best environment for him. We are going to ask you to set a bond because he's legally entitled today. We're going to ask if you set a total of a $15,000 bond. And just want to reiterate, Your Honor, that he hasn't had a preliminary hearing. He hasn't been indicted, and he's been in custody this long. Thank you.
No address where he's going to live.
No, Your Honor, I do have an Atlanta address. It's just that based on the conversation with Mr. Peoples, he really wants to go to a program. He wants help. And so we want to send him to a program. But we do have a good address in Atlanta.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Potter.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would ask for a $10,000 bond for each burglary charge and a $3,000 bond for the possession of a tools during the commission of a crime. This incident location is the same for all 3 charges, and he burglarized the same house in August, October, and I believe in September. Stay away from the incident location at 636 Lillian, Lillan, and no contact with the victims.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 636 Lillian, I think it's Avenue. No further contact with Darlene Chavez, Chavez. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical. I think that's about the only way you'll be able. If you get him in a place, Ms. Safarasi, let us know, but I'm going to go with 10 per on each burglary, 10, 10, 10, and 2. Best of luck to you, sir. You have to give an address where you're going to be living upon bonding out. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anthony Biggs. 4 South, come in, sit down, have a seat. Sit down, have a seat. Don't leave the booth, stay in the booth. Anthony Biggs, wave your hands. Anthony Biggs. Is there an Anthony Biggs? All right, there we go. All right, position 21, Anthony Bernard Biggs, 22 CP 210469, 205 days, no indictment as of October the 26th. He got a $2,000 good bond for possession of cocaine. Pre-trial.
Regards to Biggs, 16 prior arrests, 5 felony convictions, 3 FTAs, 1 probation violation. One of those convictions is for burglary, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Tessier.
Thanks, Judge. Mr. Biggs is 54 years old. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. We do have a good address for him at Walton Hill, Fairburn. He lives at that residence with his girlfriend, sister, girlfriend's brother. They've been there for the last 3 years. He's got pretty much a whole gang of family here in Georgia. Sisters, nieces, nephews, godparents, you name it, they're all here. He graduated from East Atlanta High School, has a forklift certification, also has an OSHA certification, and believes he can return to his job at Spectrum Metal Company if released. Does have an adult son as well. Judge, he's been in custody 205 days, as you mentioned. It's been 97 days since he had a prelim, Judge. The case is still not indicted. Currently, it's a $2,000 bond. We're going to request that you give UJR to the hold, Judge.
All right, gentlemen, sit up. Everybody sit up straight, sit up straight, head up, head up, head up, head up, head up, head off the table. Come on, sit up. Gentlemen, 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 you are in court. You don't lay down in court. You don't lay down on Zoom. Sit up, sit up, sit up. Everybody, let's go. Pay attention. We're in a courtroom. Set up right. You can sleep later. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is requesting that the bond conditions and amount remain the same as they were on October 26, 2022. The defendant has multiple burglary convictions in DeKalb and Fulton. There's a pending Jasper County ID fraud case from 2021. And we think that he's a risk of reoffending, risk of committing new felonies, and risk to persons and property within the community.
One North, you're pushing it. Sit up. One North, both of you, sit up. Sit up straight. One North, get off the wall. Get off the wall. Booth 3, get off the wall. Take him out of there. Take him out of there. Leave, leave, leave. All right, then sit down. Everybody, I am not playing. We are in a courtroom. You cooperate, we can do much, much better. All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Must reside at 7077 Walton Hill in Fairburn, Georgia. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical emergencies. Stay away from all best American locations. $1,000 good bond, sir. Best of luck to you. You can leave the booth. Mr. Biggs, you can leave the booth. Have a good evening.
Judge.
All right, David Drake. David Drake. There you go, Mr. Drake, position 23. Once I finish your case, you can leave. 22 CP 210543, 206 days without indictment, willful obstruction, felony, criminal trespass, terroristic threats and acts. There is a $5,000 good bond as of October the 26th. Pre-trial.
16 prior arrests, 6 misdemeanor convictions, 1 felony, 1 arrest for probation violation, 1 FTA. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Tessier.
Just a moment, Judge. Mr. Drake is 63 years old. We do have a good address for him at 891 Goss Road in Epworth, Georgia, 30541, where he'll be staying with Pastor John Baker. I actually spoke to him a few days ago and confirmed that address. He's been in Georgia over 20 years now, doesn't have any family at all here in Georgia, or I don't believe any judge at this point in life. He has completed junior high school, got his GED, currently is disabled, Judge. He's been in custody 206 days, another 97 days since the preliminary hearing. He is completely unable to make any bond amount, Judge, so we would request UJR in this scenario as well.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is requesting that bond, if you were to consider reducing it, that it at least be $1,000 as to count 1, 1,000 as to count 2, and 1,000 as to count 3 for a total bond of $3,000. As previously stated, the defendant is a multi-state offender. He has the forgery in Union County and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Orange County, Florida, unauthorized use of a vehicle in Greenville, North. The fact that he has no family in Georgia, the fact that he has 4 prior felonies, we feel that he's a risk of flight and to persons and property within the community.
All right.
Him not having any family, I don't think should be held against him. He doesn't have family at all at his age, and also he does have a hold. I don't know if that was mentioned to you, Judge.
I got you. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay out of Fulton County, sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Fill up with gas in Cobb County, come to court. Don't stop for anything and then leave or see your lawyer. Stay away from 30 Alabama Street, MARTA 5 Point Station, and all MARTA locations. If they got a T-shirt, if they got a what do you call it? A little traffic cone that says MARTA, it's MARTA property. Don't even on the street, sit on the curb and tie your shoe. All right. 1,500 and 500. Ankle monitor be paid for by the county. Serve that 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, and see your medical. And also, if you can find a job, you can go for employment as long as you supply the name of your employer, place of employment, proof of employment, and a schedule. Give it to Mr. Tessier and to the ankle monitor company. Best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Tessier, if it's been like another 30, 60 days, he's not out, get in touch with one of the chiefs. Let's get a consent to get him out of there. Get him at a program or something.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Rashad Stevens. Where's Rashad Stevens? Wave your hand if you're Rashad Stevens. There you go. Appreciate it. 2522 CP 209588. Rashad Stevens, 243 days without indictment. You got a $20,000 good bond on terroristic threats and acts. Free trial.
Judge Rashad Stevens, 44 prior arrests. 3 open misdemeanor cases, 1 for disorderly conduct, 2 for battery, 4 felony convictions, 1 FTA, 3 arrests for probation violation. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Rosenhuber.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Stevens is 40 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia. He made it to the 10th grade and then got his GED. And he has been on SSDI for MH issues, Judge. I think that explains some of his behaviors today in court. And Judge, he has been accepted into the PAD program. I sent that acceptance letter to the district attorney's office back in December, and I haven't heard back. I understand it's a big ask and he does have a bit of a history, but this would be individualized care to navigate his specific needs. They'd be able to get him into respite housing, link him to other programs, and he won't be able to go unless his bond is at most $5,000. So we can make that bail project referral. And so that's our request to the court. Thank you.
I think Mr. White's finally back. Isn't that right? So maybe, is that who you sent it to? I think he is back and feeling better. So maybe try to resend it.
I can do that, Judge. If Your Honor doesn't set it at 5,000, I will do that.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the defendant in this case has an extensive criminal history. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 prior felony convictions. In this case, he is a serious risk of committing felonies while on bond. We are asking that if you decide to lower the bond, we would be requesting an ankle monitor with 24-hour curfew, all of the usual conditions that Your Honor has requested on other cases, no drugs unless lawfully prescribed, no contact with Brianna Coffin, and no return to 307 University Avenue Southwest.
All right. So does he have an address, Ms. Rosenhuber, or is he depending on the PAD program to provide him housing?
He's depending on the housing with the PAD program, Judge.
And that's mostly going to be in Fulton County?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 307 University Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. I think that's over there near Spelman and Clark, Atlanta, correct?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, stay away from all the college campuses over there. Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, medical, attorney visits, and any sort of treatment that Ms. Rosenhuber gets you into. Must provide an address where you're going to be living upon release. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the county. Right now, Ms. Rosenhuber, I'll do it at a $7,000 good bond because it's been 243 days. Get in touch with Mr. White. Y'all get it together and I'll sign a consent to file, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Terrell Rennie. And copy me on that email, Ms. Rosenhuber, so I'll know that he responds back.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Terrell Rennie, Mr. Rennie. Thank you. All right, this position 3, 22 CP 210416. Terrell Rennie, 301 days without indictment. Possession of Schedule 2 controlled substance. Possession of Schedule 1, 2 times 2. There's a $30,000 good bond as of October the 11th, 2022. Pre-trial.
Yes, sir.
Busted.
I'm looking for what number.
It's position 3.
Variance.
I think it's one.
I got it.
Okay.
6 in Iowa. Oh, I messed this one up. He has a number of, he's on full probation. He's in Iowa, Judge. Interference with official acts of a firearm is one of them. He's not actually listed as a resident. He has a hold in Iowa for probation violation. And the other 3 are for similar or like charges. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Collins. Wait, Ms. Collins left, didn't she?
Your Honor, I'm covering this case tonight.
Okay.
All right, so yes, so Mr. Rennie, he's been in jail for 211 days without indictment. He did have a prelim back in October. Oh, I'm sorry. So you did have a prelim back in October, Your Honor. The case still hasn't been indicted since then. I mean, that's talking a couple months. It's like at least like 3 months we're talking. His current bond is set at 30,000. And just a little bit about him, Your Honor. He's been in Georgia for the last couple of months. He does have a child. He has a 6-year-old child. He does have a bachelor's degree in criminology from Northern Iowa. Your Honor, that is where he's from. And just for the record, he does have a hold in Iowa. He really would like to go and be able to try to resolve all these holds. And he can't do that as he sits in Fulton County and Fulton doesn't move his case. And so he has no way to really post a bond, Your Honor. So I'm gonna ask for $15,000 total. That is to cut the bond in half. He still can't even to make that, but at least we could chip away a little bit at a time. And I just want for the record, one of the controlled substance was like marijuana oil or like an edible or something like that, Your Honor. So it wasn't all just like massive hard drugs. There were some other type of alleged drugs in the that he was allegedly arrested with, Your Honor. But we are going to ask you to reduce the bond to $15,000. Thank you.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state actually is in agreement. We were requesting $10,000 as to count 1, 20 and $2,500 as to count 2 and 3 with the special conditions of no drugs, alcohol, weapons, ankle monitor, and we were requesting a 24-hour curfew.
All right, look at that, Ms. Safarasi. Boom. All right, Ms. Parham, put the state agreed to that. 10, 2,500, 2,500. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical staff of Fulton County, sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Is he going to go back to Iowa, Ms. Safarasi? Do you think he's going to go back to Iowa? Do you think he's going to go back to Iowa?
Yes, Your Honor. When he posts the bond, he has a hold, so I think if they come pick him up.
All right. You have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on him. Sir, stay out of the state of Georgia unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. But well, we'll make it 72 hours since you're going to be living out of state. All right. 10, 2,500, 2,500. Must supply an address upon bonding out. So why don't you get to Iowa, or you got to supply it to your lawyer once you figure out where you're going to live once you get out of Iowa. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Mark Otterbridge. Mr. Otterbridge. Don't see any hands, so how about your first name? So I apologize in advance, sir. Position 14, Bostic. Diovigdalo Ochoa. I tried, sir. I apologize. Position 14, 117 days with the $7,500 good bond for 17 without indictment, $7,500 good bond. Yep. All right. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to defendant,
Ochoa.
Yep.
No, I got that part right.
Yep. 16 prior arrests in Georgia, 11 in California. Securing a bill for sale, first offender. Simple battery in 2012 and on probation in Cherokee for theft by receiving stolen property, sentence in 22 for 6 years, 1 FTA in 2014.
Yes, Your Honor. Before the court is Mr. Ochoa. He is 35 years old. If released on bond, he does have a good address within the metro Atlanta area. That address being 23 Adair Drive. That's in Marietta, Georgia, zip code 366. He has been in Georgia for the past 18 or so years, Your Honor. Does have 2 small children who he cares for. Those children are in the custody of his brother, to my understanding, who resides at the home in Marietta, Your Honor. As it pertains to other ties to the community prior to being incarcerated in this case, Your Honor, he was working for Public Works doing asphalt stripping on the ground, Your Honor. That was the source of employment he used to pay rent as well as other bills and responsibilities. Judge, I'll start with the risk to not be responsive to the court vis-a-vis FTAs and BOPs. Although there were 15 cycles here in Georgia, I didn't see any FTAs, Your Honor, in the GCIC. And most of the criminal history that I saw reflected in the GCIC, Your Honor, were for misdemeanors. There's a 1 felony in Cherokee, like Bostic noted, but I believe that's under conditional discharge right now, Your Honor. So besides that, there were no other felony convictions for Mr. Ochoa. Most of the offenses, literally verbatim, Your Honor, were for driving, battery, other driving without a license, driving without registration, Your Honor, things of that nature. So not a history of violence, not a history of crimes against persons nor property in the community, Judge, besides that one theft offense from Cherokee. And that is a more recent arrest, Your Honor, for Mr. Ochoa. As it pertains to bond, there are a total of 4 cases, Your Honor, 4 charges, Your Honor, excuse me. There's a theft by taking the criminal damage to property, both of which are from April of 2022. But there's also on the booking screen 2 warrants from May of 2020. Those were also addressed at first appearance, Your Honor. However, they haven't been actually combined into this CP number, Your Honor. So I'm not really sure if that's going to stay in Superior Court, if it's going to be transferred to state court. It's going to be transferred to state court. I imagine Mr. Ochoa would like for that to happen sooner than later. He recently just received a time served offer on his 21 CR case. That time served was actually accepted today. And so besides does have a hold from Sandy Springs. It's for a traffic offense, Your Honor. And so our request mainly would be for a UJR to the hold only. However, if the court is not inclined to grant that request, we'd ask for the reduction to be done as follows. For each of the misdemeanor offenses, again, they're from 2020. It's now 3 years later, Judge. We'd ask for UJRs through the jail. For the theft by taking criminal damage to property, that is a $7,500 good bond. We're asking for a good bond not to exceed $3,000. That's $1,500 per felony offense, Your Honor. As in relation to a van, he's had no contact with the listed victim, doesn't know them personally, doesn't know their addresses, phone numbers, email address, anything of that sort, Your Honor. And again, it's almost a year since that incident took place. And I highly doubt that Mr. Ochoa has had any contact with those individuals, Your Honor. So that'd be our request for bond, a UJR to the hold only or $3,000 split, Judge. Thank you.
I don't even see those 2 misdemeanors listed under this CP number.
It's at the very top, Your Honor. In total, that bond is, I believe, it's $4,000. It's the obstruction, the drug-related objects, Your Honor.
I mean, I got the old bond order, and it's not even listed on the bond order.
We addressed it at first appearance, Your Honor. That's the only reason I'm bringing it to the court's attention.
That's on October the 7th, right?
What was that?
October the 7th, 2022?
Right, and it's not reflected on the bond order, Your Honor, but we did address it at first appearance because I have printouts of those additional warrants in his file, Your Honor.
Okay, so I don't know what to do, Ms. Gowdy. I'm not saying I believe I do. It's not in Odyssey. It says theft by taking criminal damage to property. It's not even listed on the bond order. The only bond order, those 2 charges. I'm sure you probably did, but nobody added them. So how do you want to fix it? I don't want him to be held up either.
Yeah.
So, because I can't give him a bond on something I don't even see anything for.
Right, but it's on his booking screen. So yeah, it probably needs to just be added to a CP case, Your Honor. I agree.
Yeah, so are you up for a prelim?
No.
How about if we put them all on all together on a prelim quickly, and then we handle them all at once? Maybe they can get a CP number for that. What do you think, Ms. Potter?
No objection, Your Honor. The state's recommendation was to keep the bond as is.
All right, let's see. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 145 Northwood Drive. No further contact with Pantino Sanchez, Sanchez. Stay out of Fulton County, sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. And have that ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, that location you're going to be working. All right, and so we'll do that a 3,000 and 2,000, and then looks like Miss Fantasia is leaving it. So Miss Travoya, if you could, and I guess Miss Gowdy, if you want to email Miss Potter, Luke, Miss Robinson, in, maybe we can, if that can get a CP number, we can handle it all at a prelim. It'd be easier just handling both.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess the concern is that because it's not associated with either a CP number or a CR number, we don't know whose house is in, essentially. We don't know if it's in Superior Court and State Court. I just don't know where these charges are falling, which case it's following, Your Honor. So that's the concern.
Well, I guess Miss Potter can figure it out. She seems like she's smart.
Thank you, Your Honor. No, I have the same confusion. I did see the plea that he took today in state court, so I don't know what booking number the additional misdemeanor charges are on. Can someone provide that to me?
So it's 2214. 952.
So it's the same booking number.
Mhm.
Well, see, it's, yeah, on here, when I look at the, unless they've uploaded somewhere, but on the, not on the jail side, but it's just got the 2 warrants. I see the other. I see the CR ones, but yeah, I don't know where I don't know where they're at. Cause it says per Ms. Thornton already addressed. Those have 2,000 each, but I don't see the warrants. I don't see anything.
Your Honor, I think it would be best just to keep the bond in place and have a prelim at a later date to figure all of that out.
All right, so 3 and 2. That ankle, instead of Fulton County, sir, unless you're from court or see your lawyer, you have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle. Miss Gowdy, if y'all can figure it out and get it on a prelim, we'll address it, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
I just don't want you getting hung up, Mr. Ochoa, okay? I really don't. Miss Gowdy knows. We'll bring you back until we figure it out,
So,
okay?
is it 3 on the theft by taking and 2 on the criminal damage to property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you,
And
Judge.
Miss, I'm sorry, Judge, if Ms. Gowdy can just give me just a brief outline of what's going on with the case, I can loop Dexter in as well. And
Okay,
just
I'll
make
email
sure
you.
that we're all looped in, and then I can get it put on a prelim. But just so if it's put on a prelim, she doesn't have to come back to address it.
Yeah,
Okay,
and maybe you send her
thank you.
those other warrants, Miss Gowdy.
I'll also add the warrants to the email as well, Your Honor.
All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Ochoa.
Thank
You
you.
can leave the booth. All right, Thomas Foster. All right, this is position 15, Bostic 22 CP 213004. Thomas Foster, 118 days without indictment, no bond on criminal attempt to commit a felony, burglary in the first degree, false imprisonment. Pre-trial.
Thomas Foster, 10 prior arrests. Convictions are real old. Last one was a 99 purchase, possession, manufacturing, sale. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Miss Gowdy.
And yes, Your Honor, before the court is Mr. Foster. Mr. Foster is 61 years old. I did file a change of address into his docket for Your Honor and the state to review. If released on bond, he does have another address that is not the incident location. The address is 2140 Burroughs Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, zip code 30315. He'll be staying there with a niece, Your Honor. To my understanding, he does still have some belongings at the incident location. And so if the court is not inclined to allow him to go back with the sheriff's office one time, I at least would request of the court to place on the bond order to allow a family member to go back to the incident location to collect his belongings, Your Honor. Mr. Foster has been in custody for over 90 days, Your Honor. So as a result, he is entitled to a bond as a matter of law. If released on bond, like I said, he does have a good address. He is receiving disability due to an injury he sustained a number of years ago, Judge. As for Madam Bostic, his criminal history is very limited. And just so there's no concern about whether or not there's a number of those offenses were actually either no prost or not presented to grand jury or outright dismissed, Your Honor. So as a result, he has no prior felony convictions for any acts of violence. No prior felony convictions for anything involving a firearm, no prior felony convictions for anything involving false imprisonment, or anything that's alleged on the booking screen and the warrants in front of the court today, Your Honor. Additionally, I will note there were no prior arrests for any theft offenses, Your Honor. There's no risk to reoffend in a felonious manner as relates to property within the community as well, Judge. As it relates to the responsiveness to the courts vis-a-vis the FTAs and the VOPs, Your Honor, there are no FTAs in his criminal history, no violation of the probation. Like Ms. Bostic stated, the last felony arrest and conviction ultimately was in 1999 marijuana. And I do believe that was the first offender, Your Honor, and I don't see anything reflecting that first offender being actually revoked. So to my understanding, Mr. Foster is not a convicted felon. He's 61 years old, Judge. So as it relates to bond, we're asking for a $25,000 good bond with the following conditions, conditions. We're asking for 10 on the false imprisonment, 10 on the burglary, and then 15,000 on the criminal attempt. So if my math's correct, that's actually 35,000, with the stay away from the incident location and no further contact provision with the listed individual. He doesn't know her personally, does not know a phone number, email address, or anything of that sort for the young lady involved in this case, Judge. I have no doubts about Mr. Foster's ability to actually abide by those conditions, Judge. So that's a request for bond at this point, Judge. Thank you so much.
What's the state? You're on mute, Ms. Potter.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would ask for a $5,000 bond for count 1, 10,000 for the burglary, and 15,000 for false imprisonment. I
That seems
understand.
better. We'll agree to that.
He does not have a substantial criminal history, but the nature of this charge and this incident was pretty serious. The victim was his next door neighbor, and they had prior incidents and difficulties before. So we would ask that absolutely he not be able to go back to the incident location or get any of his belongings. And that he additionally, stay away and have no contact with Miss Betts.
All right. No, all right, so Ms. Barr, put on there the state agreed to 5, 10, and 15. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Janet Betts. No way, shape, form, or fashion, sir. Stay away from 210 Auburn Avenue, Unit 509. Have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. He can have someone reach out to the victim advocate, Ms. Gowdy, a family member, and they can reach out getting stuff with law enforcement to accompany a family member or something, okay?
Ms. Potter, is there a victim advocate that you would recommend that you know will respond in a prompt, timely manner?
We do have one on the call right now.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Miss Williams. I can shoot you.
Oh, okay, Miss Williams. Okay, I'll put her the family member's information in the chat for Miss Williams to review.
That way, she won't have to interact with them. She can interact with the victim advocate. If not,
Okay, understood.
Erica is one of the supervisors. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Judge, what was the breakdown? 5, 10, and what now?
5, 10, and 15 per Miss Potter. All right, what about Malik Staples?
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, ma'am, Miss Gowdy.
Thank
Malik
you,
Staples. All right, there we go. Mr. Cho. All right, you ready for Mr. Staples? Or are you getting another haircut? You're on mute, Mr. Cho.
Your Honor, I call him. I don't know.
No, he's
Judge,
right
he
here.
put in chat, still in court, sorry.
Oh, he's still in court. Okay. All right, that's fine. All right, we'll come back to you then. All right, Marcus Whidbey, we'll come back to you, Mr. Staples. All right, this is Ms. Kennebrew. It's position 17, Bostic. 22 CP 213159. Marcus Whidbey, 112 days without indictment. There's an $8,500 good bond on VGCSA purchase or have control of Schedule 1 or 2 in possession of drug-related objects. Pre-trial. Boston.
Oh, I was just talking, sorry, my bad. 20 prior arrests, at least 4 felonies. Douglas, 4 arrests for probation violation.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Whidbey is 32 years of age. He has been in custody for the past 112 days. He is a lifelong resident of Georgia. He does currently have a valid address in the support of his family, his mother and his sister. He can't afford a bond, and we are trying to get him into a program. However, he has to handle the hold that he has to Paulding County. Our social worker has been speaking with the programs, and that's what they have told her. So we are asking for
Hold on 1 second. 7 South, booth 3, 7 South. Do you think I'm playing? Do you think that I am playing? I don't care who's knocking.
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking for a UJR to his hold in Paulding County so that we can get him help with programs. If you're not inclined to do the, and also Mr. Whidbey has been going to the New Beginning program in the jail, and he's been doing that for the past month. That is headed by Captain Glanton. We are looking and seeking to get him into a program. So again, we're asking for the UJR to the hold in Paulding County if you're not inclined for his bond to be reduced to a $3,000 bond.
What says the state?
Your Honor, given the fact that the defendant has 4 prior felonies, we believe he's at risk of committing future felonies pending trial. We're asking that you reduce the count 1 VGCSA to 5,000 and possession of drug-related objects to stay the same at 1,000. No contact with Yasmin, Alix Carlton, or Dallas Rector. They were inside of the vehicle where the defendant was when he was arrested. We're also asking for no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, no weapons, and an ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew.
What was that second name, Miss Adcock? I got it.
It's Dallys, Dallys, and last name is Rector, Rector.
And the Lakes Carlton, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
No further contact with those. Booth South, 7 South, sit up straight. Sit up straight. I ain't playing with you. Sit up straight. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. 20 ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew, set for court, lawyer, medical, and work. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and location you'll be working. Is he gonna live in Fulton County, Mr. Kennebrew?
No, Your Honor, he would be in Stockbridge. His mother's home is in Stockbridge, and I did just submit a change of address form.
Perfect. All right, stay out of Fulton County, sir. If you're here for court or to see your lawyer, that's the only reason you come. Get gas in Clayton or Henry County. And I think before they said you must stay with your, so you must stay with your mother. It said his sister, but I guess they live together down in Stockbridge.
No, 2 different addresses. The sister was in Riverdale. The mother is in Stockbridge.
All right, so you must stay with your mother in Stockbridge. 5,000 on count 1, 250 on count 2. Ankle monitor is going to be paid for by the county, sir. You have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle after you get that release from Paulding County. If you don't get that ankle monitor placed on your ankle, you'll be in violation of your bond condition. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Thank you. Monte Wilder. Monte Wilder. Nope. Ryan Tucker. There you go, sir. Position 5, Bostic 22 CP 209844. Ryan Tucker. 235 days with $4,000 split bond on possession of drug-related objects and criminal intent to commit burglary. Pre-trial. 235 days. Go ahead, Bostic.
Tucker Ryan, 6 prior arrests, open case 20 CP 196409. Currently, nope. Yep. Mathematically, it's over. Theft by deception in 2021. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Correa.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Tucker turned 32 in the jail. He has lived in Georgia for about the last 4 or 5 years. I would direct Your Honor to notice that today Ms. Quasha Zanders from the PAD program is here on behalf of Mr. Tucker. Myself and Mr. Tucker have been in close contact with PAD regarding getting services put in place for Mr. Tucker. We have been in contact with them since the beginning of his incarceration. We've even had a joint visit with them. Up until today or very late last night, Mr. Tucker did have a hold out of the city of Atlanta. However, with the Georgia Justice Initiative, we were able to clear up that hold. So at this point, not only is it my office, not only is it PAD, but also the Georgia Justice Initiative, trying to get Mr. Tucker back into the PAD program so that way he can continue getting services with them. He has had a preliminary hearing in this case. However, this remains unindicted. The earlier case also remains unindicted. So I'm asking Your Honor to consider a UJR to the PAD program. So that way they can continue getting Mr. Tucker the services he does need while this case is lingering. Thank you, Your Honor.
That'll be for 6 months.
So the PAD program has it's
different ones.
Yeah, there are different ones. It's not a one size fits all. It's very tailored to their individual clients, but they do provide assistance with any
Gotcha.
For Mr. Tucker, it would be primarily for homelessness and ensuring that he has adequate access to medication.
All right, gotcha. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is actually in agreement with the UJR bond upon the condition that they be allowed. We obviously are requesting an ankle monitor with 24-hour curfew, that he submit to random drug screens if not already through the PAD program, that he location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons. And I'm sorry, is PAD in Fulton County?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, their offices are across the street from the Greyhound station, I believe.
So Your Honor, those would be the requests from the state.
All right. Ms. Parham, state consists of a UJR to the PAD program only, so I'm sure you'll get me a an order, Ms. Correa, before they come pick him up. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 610 Reed Street. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the curfew with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, medical. Participate in the PAD program, employment, as long as you provide proof of employment, name of your employer, schedule, location, exactly you'll be working. You need to provide it to your lawyer and also to the ankle monitoring company, sir. And you have to participate in the PAD program. If you don't, that's going to be a violation of the condition of your bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Brandon Phillips. All right, position 20, 22 CP 209227. Brandon Phillips, 255 days with a $15,000 good bond on theft by shoplifting. Pre-trial.
Momento, por favor, please.
What?
Just a moment, please. Number 20, Mr. Phillips.
Yep.
And number 4, his 40 prior arrests. 22 CP 206683 theft by taking 2 counts, 4 misdemeanors, FTA 13 and 14, 4 arrests for probation violations, 3 felony convictions, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Merrill.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brandon Phillips, Your Honor, he's been in custody for 255 days on a $15,000 bond for a case that can actually be accused under OCGA 17-7-70. Your Honor, we've reached out to the state to see if this case will be accused. We reached out on December 9th. We also reached out on December 9th. We've also reached out on December 20th, and then we've also reached out as early as January 3rd, Your Honor. Mr. Phillips is also an individual inside of the jail who suffers from mental health. Prior to his incarceration, he was getting psychiatric services from Tim Park Place, and we did have placement with St. Jude, Your Honor. We did reach out to Mr. Wright, and when we found out that Mr. White was out on sick leave, Your Honor, we sent the email through the consent bond that they used and never received a response from the date. And so as of today, Your Honor, my social worker indicated that we're not sure if he will be able to go to St. Jude. However, our next placement is going to be with We Are Living Proof, Your Honor, but we don't have that confirmed because our best bet was for St. Jude, who has more of a stronger ties with mental health, Your Honor. Nevertheless, Your Honor, this is a theft by shoplifting, Your Honor. And so we would be asking for a bond to be set at a $3,000, Your Honor. It is a charge that could go through a UJR, but we're asking for no higher than $3,000. The Bail Project is more than willing to be able to bond him out so long as it's no more than $5,000, Your Honor. But we are going to indicate his address, Your Honor, is his home address is out of Atlanta, which is zip code 30318. But Your Honor, to be perfectly honest, I think he's better suited to go to a program.
What says the state?
Your Honor, based on the fact that the defendant has 3 felony convictions as well as FTAs, we're asking that bond be reduced to $10,000 with all prior conditions, ankle monitor, no return to Chevron gas station, 2656 Donald Lee Hallwell Parkway, Atlanta. We're asking that he not have any medication unless lawfully prescribed, no alcohol, no firearms, and an ankle. I already asked for an ankle monitor, but with a 24-hour curfew, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2750 Donald Lee Holloway Parkway. Stay away from all Chevron gas stations. You have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, medical, attorney visits, work, and following any treatment program that Mr. Merrill gets you into. Sir, you have to follow any treatment program and any recommendations. Right now, Mr. Morrell, I'll reduce it to $8,000 good bond, get him in a treatment, send a consent order. Mr. White's back. Ankle monitor is going to be paid for by the county. You must supply an address upon release from the jail. You have to give it to them that date of the jail. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Judge Manny, did you want to be CC'd on that email or you're fine without?
That's fine. You can CC me on it.
Okay, no problem.
All right. See, there he goes. He walked off. He left. You have to call him later. Let him know. All right.
No, he's in there, Mr. Phillips. Give me a call when you get to your cell.
No, he walked out while I was talking. Kendrick Harper. All right. 22 CP 213389 Kendrick Harper, 104 days without indictment, receipt, possession, transport of a firearm by a convicted felon, first etc. Willful obstruction
Your
of
Honor,
law.
may I jump in possibly?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Cho. Okay. Willful obstruction, of law enforcement officers, reckless conduct, pre-trial. This is no bond.
Judge, in regards to Kendrick Harper, 13 prior arrests, has a hold for probation violation, 1 arrest for probation violations, 3 misdemeanors, 2014.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Rosenhover.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Harper is 32 years old. He will be residing at the address on file that's in Riverdale, Georgia. I was able to confirm that with his grandmother this morning. He's born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia. Most, if not all, of his family lives here. He made it to the 12th grade, later got his GED in 2015, and even completed 2 years of college. He was studying business administration at the time. As your honor knows, Mr. Harper's now been in 102 days without a bond, and so he is legally entitled to one. And also, as the court has heard, he does have a hold for probation, and so we would ask that the court considers granting a reasonably low bond so that Mr. Harper is able to make it, so that he is able to address his probation hold. Thank you.
All right, what says the state?
The state would request a $50,000 bond for count 1, $10,000 bond for count 2, and a $5,000 bond for the reckless conduct. It wasn't a no bond status, but he is entitled to one. But the state is concerned about his likeliness to offend and a danger to the community. He is currently on probation for robbery and aggravated assault in Clayton, which he just pled to in January and then picked up this offense in October. So we'd ask for a $30,000 bond total, no weapons, ankle monitor, and that's all from the state.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3749 Campbellton Road Southwest. Stay out of Fulton County. Sir, unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer, you have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. Employment, if you can get a job and turn over the name of your employer, proof of employment, location, the exact time, and you'll be working. You have to turn that over.
Does it look like he's asking a question, Judge? Mr. Harper, I can't answer the questions for you right now. If it's something that you don't understand about the bond, I'm happy to come out and explain it to you later.
All right, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, place of employment, and schedule, give it to Ms. Rosenhover. She'll give it to the ankle monitoring company. 15, 10, and 5. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Ms. Rosenhover, if it's something with a bond, let me know. We can modify it if it has to be, okay?
I will, Judge. Thank you. And that concludes my business, if I may be excused.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening. Mr. Cho, did you want something, Mr. Cho? Mr. Cho. All right, let's see. All right, Ms. Taylor, let's take yours. Let's see. Is Antonio Ragland here? All right, you got 2 cases, Mr. Ragland. You got it, Bostic?
Judge, was one of them heard last night or?
No, we
both of them
continued
here
both.
today?
It was on there by mistake. We're hearing both of them today.
Okay.
All right. 22 CP 210565 Antonio Lemaine Ragland, 93 days without 93 days without indictment, theft by taking. There's a $3,000 good bond on that. Then position 2 is 22 CP 213603, 93 days without indictment, no bond on aggravated assault as of November the 1st. Pre-trial.
Couple of convictions for aggravated assault. 2016 aggravated assault, family violence. 2014 aggravated assault, family violence, and robbery. And 2016 battery, family violence conviction. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Judge, thank you. I think on the theft by taking, if I'm not mistaken, Judge, he already posted bond on that, I believe. Okay.
Let me look and see if there's one. There wasn't one when I prepped my counter, but let me look and see if he's posted it.
All right.
If he is, we won't touch it, obviously.
All right.
All right, go ahead with your argument.
Judge, on the aggravated assault charge, this is one honestly, Judge, I'm still trying to figure out why he's charged in this case. just a little bit about it, according to the warrant, and it says that basically he was driving a car that's allegedly his brother got out and pointed a gun at Edward North. And they have Mr. Antonio Ragland charged with aggravated assault. I don't know why. And note to the prosecutor, Edward North is an individual that is on bond for shooting Mr. Ragland and is not supposed to be around Mr. Ragland or have any contact with him. This Mr. Ragland's neighborhood where this alleged incident, supposedly Mr. Ragland's brother pointed a gun at Mr. North. Mr. North, according to Mr. Ragland's family, has been stalking his entire family, has been contacting them, offering to bribe them to keep Mr. Ragland from testifying in the case. So this is very odd, Judge, that Mr. Ragland ends up getting charged with aggravated assault for driving a car in his own neighborhood where allegedly his brother points a gun at someone who's not supposed to be in the neighborhood, who is actually on bond for shooting Mr. Ragland. So very interesting. Certainly I want the prosecutor to note that. And certainly I believe his family has contacted the state regarding the stalking of Mr. North of this family. Judge, Mr. Ragland has been working with he's 42 years old. He's been employed with Reliable Security as a security guard for quite some time. I tried to get an employment verification letter from them. He is married. He has 4 children. The oldest is 17. The youngest is 4 years old. He's a native of Atlanta, graduated from Carver High School. His mother lives in the neighborhood where this incident allegedly happened. His father's deceased. All of his family, as indicated, siblings, etc., are all here in Atlanta. So he has sufficient ties to the community. There's no allegation that Mr. Ragland did anything to this man. Judge, I would ask the court to consider a $5,000 bond. Mr. Ragland needs to get out and get back to work to help support his family. I don't even see the need for any ankle monitor or anything else. Like I said, Judge, he's not alleged to have done anything. There's not any, there hasn't been any kind of preliminary hearing. And if there had been, certainly I'd have been asked that this warrant be dismissed. It's not even alleging any crime that Mr. Ragland may have committed. So we'd ask the court to consider a $5,000 bond, Judge.
So, Ms. Taylor, does it look like free at last bonding on July the 11th? All right, it shows up on the jail side. So he's already went, and I don't see where they came off of it. So for some reason, Ms. Taylor, if you forgot they came off of it.
No, Judge. No.
I mean, if you do, just, shoot me an email, okay? So he's already made that one on position 1 for the 3,000. So we're just addressing the ag assault. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. The way I read the case was that the 2 brothers were acting in concert. Antonio was the driver that picked up Edward and took him to the location where Robert was waiting to assault him. So that's the basis of the charge. We would ask for a $10,000 bond for count 1, ag assault, no contact with the victim or co-defendant, and that's it from the state.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. See, is 880 Smith Street's not his address, right?
No, Judge.
Okay, stay away from 880 Smith Street. No further contact with Edward North. No further contact with they're brothers. They live together?
No, Judge, but they're brothers. So,
well, I'm just going to tell you this, Mr. Raggett. I'm going to say no further contact with him. But Mr. Roberts' attorney wouldn't want you talking to him about the case. And Ms. Taylor don't want you talking with your brother about the case. Because you never know in court what your defense is going to be. All right. So I would say no talking about the case. Okay. Do what you want to with that. All right. You're going to have an ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. And I say court, meeting with Ms. Taylor too. Employment, name of your employer, schedule, location, and put that's the state agreed to that, or the state set that bond, Ms. Parham. Location, schedule, I think, yeah, and proof of employment, and submit that to Miss Taylor, and she could submit that to the state, and you could let the ankle monitor company know. I didn't hear any holds, but if there happens to be any holds, I usually tell you, yeah, 48 hours to have that put on. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Judge, I'm sorry, you said 10,000?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Cho, did you get jumped in the hallway?
Judge, I'm almost done. I'm paying my fine.
Okay. You want to call me when you get back to the car? You want to get on when you get back to your car, Mr. Cho? We'll leave it when he gets back to his car. All right, Ronald Lord.
He put in the chat, he's almost done paying at the window.
Okay. All right, Ms. Beck.
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right,
I
that's
can't
cool.
reach that.
Okay. All right, Ronald Lord, position 1, 22
Here.
CP 209792. Got 236 days. Okay, without indictment. Wait a minute. Did this person come? Oh, the bail. Did they come off this bond?
Okay, so this is very confusing and we're not sure. So what happened was the bail project paid his bond back in December. And then as he was checking out, it got flagged for a probation violation, but they had already paid. I don't have any notes on my end that they have come off the bond. However, he did just recently get his probation violation dealt with. So I don't know if we want to, I don't know what you want to do.
What do you think, Ms. Adcock, Ms. Potter, anybody? So is this plastics good?
So his probation violation was
He's handled that.
Yes, that was on Friday, and basically he's getting like time served. So his understanding was that he would be able to be released.
The thing, Judge, now, can we come back to this one?
Yeah, you'll look it up.
Yep.
All right,
This
she'll
is
look it up.
Ronald Lloyd.
Lord.
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 Yeah, Lord.
Sorry. I'm from the north. I'm sorry.
Your accent, Bostic, is
See,
not
that's the
Lloyd.
country, that's my accent, Lord. The
Yeah.
Lord.
Lord, like, Medea says Lord, but she ends up with
LAWD.
D. All right, we'll come right back to you, sir, okay? All right, DeAnthony Owens. All right. All right, that's 112 days without indictment. Got 22 CP 213280. DeAnthony Owens got obstruction of a law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence. There's a $5,000 good bond as of October the 18th. Pre-trial.
Judge DeAnthony Owens, 29 prior arrests on probation, terroristic threats, firearm by battery, family violence, cruelty in the third, 19 SC 165959. And then on probation, there's a hold for this one, 12 SC 109399, a CWAC conviction, sentence in 2013 for a 15-year sentence, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Houston.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Owens is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, Georgia. The address on file is confirmed and good. Does have a high school education. Is a forklift driver for WV Enterprises. Does have 4 children. He's been in for a total of 112 days on an obstruction charge without indictment, Your Honor. We understand that he has a hold for a probation hearing. Would ask for a UJR to the hold.
All right, what says the state?
The state would object to any changes at this time. $5,000 is appropriate for this charge. And additionally, I have down that he's on, he has a hold for 2 cases and has a probation revocation hearing for the 12 SC case as well as a 19 SC 165. State would just ask to keep the $5,000 bond.
All right, I'm gonna modify it some, so I'll reduce it. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. No further contact with Officer Xavier SEALFE unless it's outside of his official capacity. So as long as it's in his official capacities, you can have contact. Gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you provide name of your employer, proof of employment, location, and the schedule you'll be working. Give it to Mr. Houston. He'll in turn give it to the state. You got to give it to the ankle monitoring company. $4,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You have 48 hours to have that placed on your ankle if there's any holds. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. So we got, did we take care of Monty Wilder?
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lloyd, that, Bell Project thing is still under his system.
Right.
Has somebody sent over something saying the probation revocation has been lifted to records?
Do you know, Ms. Beck, has anything been sent over that's been handled?
Not yet, Your Honor. But I did wonder, since courts were kind of weird on Friday, if it was just delayed. So I didn't.
Since that was Friday and today is Monday, until records get something, records in the jail get something that's been lifted. That's what they're waiting on, because all the other stuff is cleared in the system. The bond part is the only thing that's showing is still holding him is that. So until they get something saying that probation violation part has been handled, he won't be released.
Okay. Your Honor, is it okay if I reach out to you if it's not resolved in a few days to get him back on a calendar if something comes up weird?
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't want him to be sitting there.
Yeah, I don't either. Who did the probation?
Oh boy.
Whoever that clerk is in that office, just have somebody from there send something over to records, or however records obtain that information.
Okay, I will reach out to them and make sure that they send that over then.
Okay, yeah, and feel free, you can copy me. So, Mr. Lord, you'll still have that same probation, you'll still have all those same conditions that you have. So you've made that bond, basically. I'll remind you, stay away from 988 Peachtree Street Northeast, stay out of Midtown. You know the location in Midtown if you're from here. You have to supply an address upon release. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. You have a 24-hour curfew. That ain't gonna be paid for by the county. And you got to follow any programs when you're accepted into any kind of treatment. You can leave for court, lawyer, medical, and that program. And then you've already been in 236 days without indictment. They made your bond. Best of luck to you, sir.
And Judge, just so I'm clear, I'm not doing another bond order. You just get.
No, I don't want you to. I'm just reminding him, Ms. Parham.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business for today. Can I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Monty Wilder. Monty Wilder. Nope. So we got Mark Otterbridge. Mark Otterbridge. All right, it's position 2, 22 CP 209606. Mark Otterbridge, excuse me, 241 days without indictment. There is a $22,000 good bond. 2022 possession, manufacture, distribution, sale of marijuana, possession of MDMA, VGCSA, possession Schedule 1 or 2, and driving, fleeing, attempting to elude, and obstruction. Free row.
Otterbridge, 16 prior arrests.
We lost you, boss. You muted yourself.
Intentionally. Firearm by a first offender, misdemeanor possession. 1 year confinement, 3 years probation, Palm Act. First offender on a sale of marijuana on probation in Clayton for a controlled substance, given false names, sentence in 2021. 3 arrests for probation violation, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Tessier.
Thanks, Judge. Mr. Otterbridge is 35 years old, has been in Georgia for the last 31 years. We do have a good address for him on Ashley Circle, where he lives with his girlfriend. He does have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, has completed the 11th grade, has a job that they've been holding for him at 425 Lounge. He's been working there for 2 years. Judge, he's got no violent history, no witnesses to intimidate. He's been in custody 241 days, as you mentioned. But it's also been 113 days since his preliminary hearing, Judge, and we still have no indictment. So we're going to ask that you reduce the bond down to $10,000, Judge.
And there's no holds, right?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
Okay. And where's he going to live? Because I got him staying out of Fulton County.
2581 Ashley Circle in Jonesboro, Georgia.
All right, in Clayton County. All right. What says the state?
The state does not feel like there's a need to modify his bond at this time. He's got 2 open cases and he's on probation for another 2 and also has an FTA warrant. The bond was originally $25,000 and then the court reduced it to $22,000. And the state doesn't believe it needs to go any lower at this time.
All right, let's see. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. I'd already say no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. All right, you're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, and employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, a schedule, and exact location you'll be working. You have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle if there's any sort of hold, sir. 48 hours. You got to get in touch with the ankle monitoring company, have it placed on your ankle. 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 6,000, and 500. 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 6,000, and 500. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Judge. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. All right, Mr. Cho, are you ready? And Miss Safrasi.
Ready,
All right.
ready.
Mr.
Sorry.
Staples, you ready? You ready, Mr. Staples? All right. And we'll talk about it later, Mr. Cho. Don't worry about it. You have to let me know how it goes. Later, though. Way later. All right. 22 CP 209661, Malik Staples, 240 days without indictment, entering auto, loitering and prowling and obstruction. There is a $7,000 good bond as of September the 13th. Pre-trial.
What was his charges again?
Entering auto.
Loitering and prowling and
Oh,
obstruction.
never mind. I was gonna say, pre-trial, but never mind. No prior arrest.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, I apologize. I was flipping through. My understanding is that the entering auto is currently at 6,000, the loitering and prowling at 500, and the misdemeanor obstruction is at 500 as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the request from opposing counsel? I apologize.
What do you want, Mr. Cho?
Judge, I'll say this, the change in circumstance is that there has not been a probable cause hearing, 200 plus days. So this is one of those cases that's a bit excessive as far as the delay is concerned, especially for someone who is charged with a nonviolent crime, who is a teenager, and who is someone presented to the court with no felony convictions. Mr. Staples is 19. He has a good address on Barton Drive. That's in Forest Park, Georgia, 30297. His father, Mr. Staples, is also present on Zoom, has been present. Carl Staples has been present since 5 o'clock this afternoon. So he has strong ties to the community. He is someone who has someone in court virtually to vouch for his ties to the community. He is previously working at UPS. He is a school graduate, and it's a nonviolent offense. Judge, Mr. Staples, Carl Staples' dad, wanted the court to know that he has congestive heart failure, and so he needs his son at home. He asked me to relay to the court that the family is requesting a UJR in this case. I would say my personal position is that that's not unreasonable based on the length of delay, specifically for this case. I'm not sure why nothing has occurred on it, but Your Honor, his dad has been in constant contact with me. I have multiple emails from him, multiple communications, and we are asking the court to consider a reduction. There is a hold on the jail side of Odyssey, to be candid with the court, but it's my understanding Mr. Carl Staples has talked to the probation officer in Indiana, and that hold should be lifted. I'm going to follow up on that because it's still showing on our side of Odyssey. But our hope wishes is to try to get Mr. Staples out of jail. It's not a safe place. It's just not a great environment, notwithstanding the allegations before him. I don't think 200 plus days for this kind of charge is appropriate. Nothing further.
You want like a UJR to the hold only, or you want it cut in half?
That's a hard one, Judge. I would say UJR to the hold, and I'll try to get the hold resolved. But
Or we could put a dollar amount. If they don't come get it, we could have a dollar amount there.
okay, thank you, Your Honor. We'll defer to the court.
All right. What about it, Ms. Adcock? I think he wants it reduced greatly so the guy can get out.
Your Honor, the state is agreeable to a reduction in the bond by half. That would be $3,000 as to the count one and $250 as to the loitering and prowling and the misdemeanor obstruction. We would ask that he not return to 558 College Street, Hateville, Georgia, 30354. That he have no contact with the individuals he was arrested with that evening, that he have no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol, and no weapons.
And he's gonna live outside of Fulton County, right?
Forest Park, Judge.
right.
Pardon my ignorance. I'm not sure if that's in
That's okay. Yeah,
in our
that's great.
jurisdiction.
All right, that's
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
sir. It'd be 3,250 on loitering and probably 250 on obstruction. Do you want to do that or UJR to the whole, Mr. Cho?
Would you do UJR to the hold, and if there's no transport, then
Then he can
can
pay
you do a
that.
conditional, please,
Yes.
if possible?
Yeah. So what we'll do, Ms. Adcock, is we
It
do.
says full extradition.
All right, so we do 3,250, 250, and then a UJR to the hold only. So if they come get him, it'll be a UJR. If not, he pays that. But he'll have stay out of Fulton County except for court or to see your lawyer, sir. Don't get gas, don't get lunch. Just go straight to court or straight to see Mr. Cho. All right, you got to supply your address upon release. No further contact with Kelly, K-E-L-Y, Neary, N-E-R-I. Stay away from 55-8 College Street in Hateville, Georgia, which is good. You're gonna stay out of Fulton County, so you can stay away from there. That ankle monitor will be paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, attorney visits, and also work. If you supply the name of your employer, place of employment, your schedule, and the location you'll be working, okay? You'll have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on your ankle once you are released from that hold. 3,250, 250, or UJR to the hold only. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you for your patience today. You too.
All right. Monte Wilder. All right, that's not for us. It's 22 CP 213039. 116 days without indictment. There is a $15,000 good bond on theft by shoplifting. Pre-trial.
In regards to Mr. Wilder, multi-state offender, 48 Georgia, 1 Illinois, 1 Florida. Felony fleeing and eluding conviction with 9 misdemeanors, currently still on probation, it appears, 3 months. 2 years, no, he's not. Felony theft by shoplift from 2015, and in Florida, a grand theft, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Safarasi.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wilder is 52 years old. We do have a good address for him in Riverdale, Georgia. I actually just submitted the change of address this today. So we do have it. That's in Clayton County, Your Honor. Mr. Wilder, he's been incarcerated 116 days without indictment. He was booked back in October, Your Honor. He's had no preliminary hearing as of now. He did have one scheduled on the 19th of January, but that officer failed to appear. As you know, this is a reoccurrence we deal with. The officer failed to appear, and so it was reset to February 3rd. Your Honor, and this offense, for the record, is an accusable offense, so the state doesn't even have to wait for a grand jury for this case. They could go ahead and just accuse it. And a little bit about the case itself. The allegation is that it was $502.37. So we're really talking from a difference of a felony to a misdemeanor, $2. The charge, it was from Publix, it was for groceries, Your Honor. Just for the record of what the allegations are, that is the allegations. A little about Mr. Wilder. He's been in Georgia the last 21 years. That address in Riverdale, Georgia, that is the address he resides with his cousin. We do have information from his cousin, his contact information. Mr. Wilder has one daughter, which is 8 years old. He does have a high school graduation. He graduated high school, Your Honor. He does have some college education. He went to school at a technical college for industrial technology. For work, he does landscaping. He's also on disability, Your Honor. And we do believe we might have some addiction issues here that we are working with social workers to get him into a proper placement. Because of the length of time he's been in and the offense that he's being accused of, Your Honor, we are going to ask you to reduce the bond. He can't make the current bond. If he could make it, he would have already posted it by now. So we're going to ask if you reduce the bond to $3,000 total. That gives us some time to get to the bail project, apply them, and see if they can post his bond for him. So thank you, Your Honor. We're asking for $3,000 total. Thank you.
Does he have an address where he's going to live?
Yes, Your Honor. It's in Riverdale, Clayton County.
Okay.
And that's updated in the system and everything.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state is requesting a reduction at most to $8,000, just so the court is aware. He has a 2002, 2006, 2006, 2007, 2007, 2008, 2009 theft by shoplifting, all of which were here in Fulton County, a 2010 possession of cocaine, a 2010 theft by shoplifting, an additional 2010 theft by shoplifting. And then he's got multiple convictions in other states, including Broward County. He's got that felony larceny and theft by receiving stolen property and arson out of Indiana. Given the fact that the defendant has at least 10 shoplifting convictions, we feel that he's a risk of committing new felonies pending trial and a risk to persons and property within the community. We would also be requesting a stay away from all Publix locations, an ankle monitor with 24-hour curfew, no drugs without valid prescription, no alcohol, and no weapons.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3730 Carmia, Carmia Drive Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. You can have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, your schedule, and the exact location you'll be working, sir. Give it to your lawyer. You need to let the ankle monitoring company know. Stay out of Fulton County, sir. Don't come back to Fulton County except for court. See your lawyer. That's it. You live in Forest Park, stay in Clayton County. Fill up with gas in Clayton County, then come to Fulton County. All right. $5,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Mr. Cho will get in touch with you. I mean, Miss Safarasi, sorry. Miss Safarasi, get in touch with you. 5,000.
Yeah, Mr. Wild, you can just give me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
Mr. Wild, you can just give me a call.
Got it. All right, go back to Mr. Henderson. I do see Mr. Houston, if he left, you could take his wife and that address off of it because he took responsibility for having the drugs and the firearm, but he ran, or for the financial transaction card theft. He took possession of it. So Miss Parham, take the wife and the Miss Moore and the address off there, okay? Because he took responsibility for it.
Judge, what position is that? Number one?
Number one, Henderson.
Okay, you could take the off.
Yeah, and the address, because he took responsibility for it.
Okay, all right.
Anything, Miss Gowdy? Anything else before I stop the stream? Miss Gowdy, you just hanging out? We're gonna stop.
I did have one thing, sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, what is it, Miss Gowdy?
Okay, I did send an email to the court, and I imagine I need an 8080 sound on the line. So Miss Potter, if you could just turn your camera on, and I can forward the email to you as well. So I usually do an audit on all my cases on Sunday evenings, and so I came across a bond order that I think is incorrect, and I emailed Your Honor about it. It was from Miss Young. My notes reflect her bond was reduced to 8,000, but the bond order says 18. So I was just wondering if the court had any notes from that calendar that reflects that bond order, and I can give you the case number, of course.
Well, what date was that? I got them.
Yeah, of course. I believe it was the 19th of January.
January 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull it out of the stack, okay? Right back.
Okay.
Excuse me, Judge. If it's a different date, though, yell so I can pull it, okay?
Okay. I'm trying to get, yeah, it was.
All right, who is it, Miss Gowdy?
It was Shalaka Young.
All right, 1 second.
It might have been on an add-on calendar.
I just got them all in a binder clip,
Okay.
so they're not in any sort of order except the order that we went.
Okay.
She's number 5 on the add-on.
Yeah, so I had driving with suspended license, UJR 3,000 on 2, 1,500, 2,000, 1,000, then UJR.
3,000, 1,500.
2,000, 1,000, then UJR.
Yeah, so On Odyssey, it says 18,000, so.
I ain't good at math, but that don't add up to that, so.
Yeah.
You want to do the amended one? Ms.
Um,
Gowdy, and shoot it to me or something, maybe get done quicker
Yeah.
that way.
And I just need to make sure that, because I just wrote the numbers down myself.
All right, so it's UJR count 1, 3,000 count 2, 1,500 count 3, 2,000 count 4, 1,000, and then UJR on the last one.
Okay. And then I have one more bond order, if you don't mind looking, Your Honor.
Is it
He
same day?
had court on the 19th as well. My notes reflect he had a $12,000 bond, and that's also what's in Odyssey. It says 12,000 under comp room order for bond. But if you look at the actual bond order, it says 20,000. His name was Joseph Taylor.
Hold on a second.
He's number 1 on the main calendar.
I got 5,000 and 7,000.
Okay, so I'll submit a minute order for that one. That says 20,000 in Odyssey.
All right.
5 and 7. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
All right, is that it?
Yeah.
That's it, Your Honor. Have a good night.